The 2022 edition of the Cosafa Cup is well underway, with South Africa on course to defend its title. There's drama aplenty in the Sub-Sahara Competition, with Mauritius and Malawi bowing out of the tournament already. The tournament's General Secretary Sue Destombes joins us now for a quick update. A very good morning to you, Sue, and thank you so much for joining us. Look, and I'm sure you would understand, although it's not something I think you would want to be hearing. You know, there's a belief that the Cosafa Cup really doesn't give that much to national teams, particularly Bafana, who've got so much other that they want to be focusing on, other bigger ambitions. But what then do you say to people who don't rate the Cosafa Cup as they should?
Well, yes, I most definitely don't agree with that philosophy or hypothesis, because indeed the Cosafa Cup gives an enormous amount to the teams of this region, and in fact even Senegal. This is the second time Senegal have accepted our invitation. If they thought there was no value to it, it's unlikely that they would have made the journey all the way from West Africa. But what it does bring to all of our member associations, including South Africa as being one of them, is competitive play in a competition. Three match, a minimum of 3 competitive matches, and in that time, giving the coaches an opportunity to blood new players, to see what those fringe players can do before they put them into a qualifier for instance, what's coming up just around the corner is the CHAN qualifiers or an AFCON qualifier. So it plays a very important role there. It also plays a vital role of keeping the national teams active of some of the so-called smaller countries who may not be participating in the CHAN qualifiers this year, like Namibia, or those who would bow out in the preliminary rounds of a CHAN or an AFCON, and then be inactive for at least 12 months. So it provides that as well. It's also the happy hunting ground for the scouts. One only has to look back to last year in Port Elizabeth, where South Africa had brought a team that I think most people at the beginning of the tournament thought, what kind of a team is this? And didn't, wrote them off before they even started. They went on to win the tournament, as we know. And the very next day, and for the next 10 days, the media was writing about all of the player purchases, which come out perennially from the Cosafa Cup.
What is this competition then? I mean, I'm hearing you speak a lot about the advantages, or rather the benefits, particularly for like Bafana, where new talent can be introduced, and be blooded in so as to introduce them onto bigger platforms, the AFCON, World Cup qualifiers and such. But what does it do for the likes of Eswatini, Lesotho, Botswana, as you're saying, that Namibia as well, as you're saying that these are countries that seldom get the kind of action that a Senegal, a Cameroon, a Nigeria, and Egypt would be getting, especially at AFCON level? What does it do for them and their growth in terms of being able to compete with the nations that I've just mentioned? And I ask this question particularly because I go back to, I think it was 2017, correct me if I'm wrong, where Madagascar burst onto the scene, and all of a sudden they were now qualifying for the AFCON when people did not expect to see that happen. So Cosafa is doing that for nations like Lesotho, Eswatini, Madagascar, Malawi, is it not?
Absolutely. And we only just need to look at the recent AFCON qualifiers, where Lesotho drew with Cote d'Ivoire. I mean, that would have been unheard of, a couple of years ago. Madagascar, yes, and a very good example that they went on to. It was actually at the 2018 Cosafa Cup in Polokwane, and that led them to the 2019 AFCON in Egypt. So it's vitally important, and it does play a big role in those countries. Eswatini, playing very well at the moment as well. So it's leveling. It's beginning to level. It has, over the years, leveled the playing fields, and is getting more and more so. That as one of our colleagues, always like to talk about the minnows of Cosafa, the smaller nations. But that's fast changing. So there is a very definite role to be played, by zonal competitions like the Hollywood Cosafa Cup, and Sekafa does one as well. We may see in due course that CAF uses these zonal tournaments as a direct qualifier, perhaps for the CHAN, which would save the member associations money in rather than be doing the home and away scenario for qualifiers.
Sue, we're unfortunately going to have to leave it there, but I would imagine we will probably have another chat as we draw closer to the final on the 17th of July. Of course, that is next week, Sunday, but we do appreciate you just sparing some time to, just chat to us about, of course, what it is that is Cosafa and why it is football fans, not only just in this region of Sub-Sahara, but I think the continent at large, why it is they should still continue to care about this competition. But thank you so much for joining us here on eNCA this morning. That, of course, is Cosafa Cup's General Secretary Sue Destombes, just chatting to us, of course, about what it is that we are expecting where Cosafa is concerned. It is coming to an end on the 17th of July. That is next week, Sunday. And I think South Africans, myself included, will be hoping that it is Bafana Bafana that is contesting that final and lifting that trophy.